Okay, so today we're going to speak about forgiveness, going back to perek Vav, chapter 6. And before that, we keep our seder of reading chapter. So we're going to dedicate that class for the protection of our soldiers, and for the protection of our team. That next week, B'ezrat Hashem, when we do that class, we should celebrate that they already all went out, because every week we're praying for them. Now, B'ezrat Hashem, that next week we should celebrate and do a Seudat Hodaya to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for them to be out and healthy in their mind and in their guf, in their body, B'ezrat Hashem. For all the wounded also, that they should have a refuah shelema. And our dear friend Cynthia Sedbon has her mom who needs our prayers. The name of her mother is Jacqueline Aziza. No, Jacqueline Bat Aziza. Hold on just 1 second. This morning I'm a little confused. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's Jacqueline Bat Aziza. Jacqueline Bat Aziza, that she should have a refuah shelema bekarov, and only good news, B'ezrat Hashem, for her surgery. Okay, so we're going to read number 20, 121, and Kuf Lamed 130. לנצח מזמור לדוד, יענך אדוני ביום צרה, יסגפך השם אלוהי יעקב, ישלח עזרך מקודש ומציון יסעדיך, יזכור כל מנחותיך ועולתך ידשנה סלה, ייתן לך חלבביך וכל עצתך ימלא. נרננה בשבועתך ובשם אלוהינו נדגול, ימלא אדוני כל משאלותיך. עתה ידעתי כי יושר אדוני משיחו, ירנהו משמי קודשו בגבורות ישע ימינו. אליו הרכב ואליו הסוסים, ואנחנו בשם אדוני אלוהינו נזכיר, המה קראו ונפלו ואנחנו קמנו ונתעודד. אדוני יושר עמלה ירננו ביום קרב. 121. של המעלות, יצייני אל יערים מאין יבוא עזרי. עזרי מעם אדוני עושה שמיים בארץ, אל תן לעמוד רגליך על ינום שומריך. הנה לא ינום ולא ישן שומע ישראל. שומריך אדוני צלך על יד ימיניך. יומם השמש לא יככה וירח בלילה. אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה ועד עולם. שיר המעלות ממעמקים קראתיך אדוני. אדוני שמעה וקולי תהיינה אזניך קשובות לכל תחנוני. עם עוונות תשמע יה אדוני מי יעמוד. כי מייחס לך למרן תברא. קיוויתי אדוני כי ותל נפשי ולדבר אוכלתי. נפשי לאדוני משומרים לבוקר, שומרים לבוקר, יחל ישראל אל אדוני, כי עם אדוני החסד והרבה עמו פדות. והוא יפדה את ישראל מכל עוונותיו. Okay, so we saw that the different chapters of the tehilim were written at different times of the life of David HaMelech and other psalmists who also wrote the tehilim. But then they were compiled in a way that has a certain sense. And we said that the first chapter was about the influence, that it's so important to be surrounded by the right influence. We saw then that the second part was to understand the mission of Am Yisrael. We saw last week the power of 8, meaning like the power of 8 was the power of infinite, of the idea of digging into our connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu through our neshama, which is a connection with Hashem, which is a part of Hashem, right? And that we are able to ask Hashem for help in any situation and to take refuge in Him, right? Mm-hmm. We spoke about, now we are going to speak about another very important and fundamental idea for a healthy life, right? It is forgiveness. There's another reason why we keep ourselves away from happiness and from serenity. It could be to hold grudges or to want to take revenge on someone, right? People who do not forgive actually live with a very heavy. Hi Morgan, comment ça va? We read the tehilim. We're good.
And we thought of you.
We thought of you. So it's very important to understand that really forgiving is part not only of the relationship that we have with others, but it's also part of a healthy relationship with ourselves. People who hold grudges, who cannot forgive easily, usually carry on for a long time, heaviness and discomfort, and even sometimes disease get created through that lack of ability to forgive. So it's very important to understand that also, and David Ameller is giving us some keys of understanding. Anybody would like to read the perek, Vav? We can read it again, like in English if you'd like, or I have it here if you prefer, then on the phone, whatever. You would read it? Tu veux le dire? Hey, you want to read? Yeah.
To the conductor with melodies and the shemini, a song of David. Lord, do not rebuke me in anger, and do not chastise me in your wrath. Be gracious to me, O Lord, because I languish. Heal me, O Lord, because my bones are frightened, and my soul is very frightened. And you, O Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, rescue my soul. Save me for the sake of your loving kindness. For there is no memory of you in death, in the grave. Who will thank you? I am weary from my sighing. Every night I sully my bed. I wet my couch with my tears. My eye is dimmed from anger. It is aged because of all the adversaries. Turn away from me, all you workers of iniquity, for the Lord has hearkened to the voice of my weeping. The Lord has hearkened to my supplication. The Lord has accepted my prayer. All my enemies shall be ashamed and very frightened. They shall return and be ashamed in a moment.
So, first, I want to ask you something. According to you, what is forgiveness? What does it mean to forgive? To move on.
To accept
To accept. To accept what?
what the other people did to you.
Okay. As?
It depends if it came with an apology or not.
Yes.
It helps. It's easier to accept somebody's apology than just accept something they did wrong. But either way, acceptance is the word that comes to mind.
But sometimes it can just be to go to
Move.
just yes to move on.
To move on.
Even if we
Okay.
So that's the thing. Then that's a solution, but we never forgave, right?
we never forget maybe. Or you
We don't forget, but we forgive. Can we forgive without forgetting?
Maybe it doesn't hurt you anymore, but you know that it happened.
Sure.
Okay.
You're not gonna have the same relationship.
The feelings go.
You're
Let
gonna
the
have
feelings
a prayer
go.
with this person, and you know what can happen.
Or
Okay.
you just don't want to have this feeling, you know. So
Mhm.
you want to and
Okay. You want to move on and hold it somewhere. Just hide it.
not to hide it, but
To let it
it's hard to completely forget what happened.
I hear that.
No. Depends on
Depending on the situation.
And the good thing is also that sometimes when we forgive with our heart, right, we're supposed to forget, right? But at the same time, it's also a lesson for us, you know, like that we went through this experience and we learned that when this happens, like we should react differently, we should expect other things, we shouldn't trust someone this way.
or
Right.
not expect.
Yeah.
Maybe not expect, and then you're not
Disappointed. Okay, I hear. So here is the definition. Psychologists generally define forgiveness as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance or group who has harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve forgiveness. Right? So I want to ask you a question. Can a human being really forgive? Is it a human
I think so.
ability? Like, is it possible to really forgive? And how do we achieve that?
I think we change with time.
We change with time.
With time, with,
I
for
think
me, for example, when I was very young, everything was a big deal. And now, with time, now, and now, relativity, I
Yeah.
don't know how to say
I
it.
think it depends where you are in your life. Like if your life is full, you can put things in it full in a good way. You can put things in a place and you can make a choice to be happy and let the
It
bad
is a
feelings
choice.
go.
It's true.
But
It is a conscious and deliberate decision to release. It's interesting, a feeling. So basically, it means that it comes from us. The one who has been harmed, the one who has been hurt, can decide to let go of a feeling that she has. And this is called forgiveness. So it's a work on ourselves. It has nothing to do with the other person at the end. I'm going to give you an example that I listened, and I'm going to try to post it on the chat because it was a beautiful example. It was in the moment of Yom Kippur a few years ago. Someone that I think I can call her a friend. Her name is Adina Stilleman. She's the mother of my son's best friend, and she's also the founder and director of Yehudi, which is an organization of Kiruv for students, for young people like us. No, like students more. Okay. And she addresses an audience that is relatively non-observant. And she decided before Yom Kippur to do like a large Zoom, inviting an actress that I don't remember the name because I'm very bad with American actress, who has a very special story to share her story. She's not a Jewish actress, but to share her story with the crowd, because it is a real example of what forgiveness is. And she tells a terrible story that happened to her family. She used to live in California. She was living in California in a little city, and one day she comes back home, and her mother and brother have been killed by someone who entered their house. And they discover that this person is actually the son of a neighbor they know very well, who has been a friend of the family and who would come to their house very often. He broke into the house, probably to steal something, if I remember well. And the mother came in and she saw him and he shoot her because he got scared, probably. And then her son entered to see what the mom was doing, and he also got shot. Now, the police arrests that young man, and there's a trial. And after a few years, she tells the story how she forgave this person for killing her mother and her brother. And she said, like, he destroyed part of our life, our family. He took away the life of my mother, of her mother, of her brother. And for many years, she resented him. She hold grudges against him. She says she never really wanted to take any revenge on him. Obviously, she never wanted to kill him. She wanted him to be punished for what he did. But at one point in her life, she realized that holding those feelings was harming her and not him. And she decided to work on herself. Hello, Regine, welcome. To work on herself in order to release herself from this very painful and very toxic feeling of not forgiving someone. And she managed, and she tells the story how like she managed to just forgive, to let go, not of what he had done, but of the feelings she had against him. She says at the end, I cannot see that person. Oops, are you okay? I cannot see that person as just a killer. He's also the son of someone. He has also other things in his life. I want to focus on the rest. And she wrote him a message, a letter, and she told him, I forgive you for what you did, and I don't hold any more grudges. Yeah. But from that day on, she started a new life, released of these feelings. And she said that this was a new renewal, a renaissance, I don't know how we say, like a rebirth, right? For her. And from that day on, she really understood life in a different way, and she perceived the world in a different way. And she said that was like the biggest lesson of her life. So I will, Trinidad, post it on the chat because it's a nice thing to listen to. It's like probably 20 minutes, something like that, but it's really nice.
How old was she when you did that?
I think she was in her 20, earlier maybe. She was maybe between 19 and 25, something like that. She's young. She's young. So this woman was invited to that pre-Yom Kippur event online to testify that we can forgive, right? But this is more than human. And that's why it's in Perek Vav. We said Perek Vav speaks about the 8th dimension, right? What is the 8th dimension? The divine dimension within us. Somehow we have to really tap into our goodness as a part of divine, of divinity, as the neshama. Only our neshama, our divine soul, is able to forgive. Only the divine soul is able to forgive. The animal soul within us is holding grudges, wanting to revenge, cannot forget. Right? At least that's how we understand it. Being able to burn out that animal soul and let the divine soul within us speak and manage and direct and channel our decision is something that takes a life to achieve, but it's something we can do. And when we do it, it's a life-changing. Because being able to forgive someone really creates such a relief. We really feel free. When we decide that, we are achieving greatness. And of course, here we're speaking about a terrible and dramatic event, the murder of a family, but we all have small things that we resent our friends for, our spouse for, ourselves, right? We hold grudges against ourselves so many times. Why did I do that? Why did I choose to do that? How am I able to, right? We're so tough on ourselves sometimes also. releasing those feelings is something only us can achieve. Whether the person in front of us said, I'm sorry, or not, it doesn't matter because it's something that we only have to deal with ourselves. It's a choice, it's a decision to let go. You want to say something? No? I'm sorry. It was just a breath. I needed it.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so that's why in this moment, we have to, in order to truly forgive with all our heart, we really have to elevate ourselves above the laws of nature in our relationships with ourselves, with our friends, right? There is something in the Tachanunim. You know what the Tachanunim is? It's a part of the tefillah that we say when we, before the vidui, when we say after the Amidah, after the Shmoneh Esrei, we're going to ask for forgiveness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How can we ask for forgiveness if we don't forgive, right? So this is very interesting. This chapter 6, is actually the chapter that the Ashkenazim say in Tachanunim. We Sephardim say chapter 25, but they say chapter 6. So that's why we relate it also to forgiveness. And so Mondays and Thursday, when we say the Tachanunim, and those days are called the days of forgiveness. Why? Because on the end Thursday, those are the days when Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Sinai on Thursday, up to Sinai, and 40 days after he went up to Sinai, to ask for forgiveness for the Bnei Israel who had done the sin of the Chet HaEgel, the sin of the golden calf. Okay, so he goes up to Sinai to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to forgive us, right, for sinning right after we just got married with Hashem. We already like shit on him. And with the news that Hashem forgave the Bnei Israel, and this is Kippurim, the day of Yom Kippur, right? Yom Kippur every year, but it started one day when he forgave us for doing the Chet HaEgel. Okay? So when David HaMelech, yes, even David HaMelech did like something and was forgiven by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we all get to be forgiven, and we all get to forgive. And in order to understand that, we're going to use something that is called the 13 attributes of mercy. I don't know if you ever heard about the Tomer Devorah. Have you heard about that book? It's a great book. It's a great book. And maybe one day we'll study it together because it's really very interesting. It's speaking about the 13 attributes of mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Hashem has 13 attributes of mercy, right? We all okay with the terms mercy. It's not in French, c'est pas le merci. It's mercy, right? And when Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Har Sinai to ask for forgiveness, he discovered that in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he had those 13 attributes. And when we are actually like saying the Tachanunim, we are saying those 13 attributes also. And on Yom Kippur, when you go to Shul, you also listen several times to those 13 attributes. So I'm going to do those attributes together in order to understand how we can emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu and also use them to forgive, right? So the first attribute is Hashem, Kel, Chanun v'Rachum, Rechapayim v'Chesed. It sounds familiar? Yeah? Okay, so Kel is Hashem. Hashem is the name of God, right? And it says he's mighty in compassion to give all creatures according to their needs. So it means that he's able to have compassion to give everyone, even though sometimes we don't deserve, right? Everyone is what he needs. Hashem has the compassion to give us all everything that we need. We need to breathe, we need to eat, we need to be loved. We all have that somehow, right? Rachum. Rachum is merciful, that a humankind may not be distressed. So Rachum, we said many times, it comes from the same root as Rechem. Rechem is the uterus. Why is Rachum, compassion, linked, merciful? Mercy, why is it linked to the uterus? Because it's linked to a parent. A parent is so compassionate about his own kids. We can have mercy on them, even if they do the worst thing, God forbid. Right? No parent will ever totally throw away, like no good parent will ever totally throw away their kid, even though they do like a big mistake. They still have a form of mercy for them. They will have compassion. Why? It's this link that is deep, anchored deep in the Rechem, that we have a bond with them that is unique. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we are his kids. So we have this ability to evoke in him Rachmanut, this mercy. When he sees us, even when we do something that we know we shouldn't be doing, whether it's scream at our spouse, like get angry, like break things out of anger, like, like eat cheese and burger together, whatever it is that we do, that we should not be doing, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks at us and he says, Icha, Micha, my love, right? My little girl, you're doing that. Why? But I have mercy on you. I love you. You're so cute. I know you're doing that because you don't know how it is and you don't understand why you should not be doing that, right? Or you're not able to do better for the moment, but I know you're going to grow out of it, right? Just like when a 2 years old, 3 years old takes the teapot of your grandma and look at you and say, you're like, oh no, but you're not going to kick him out of the house. You're going to tell him, okay, you're so cute. You're only 3 years old. Come on, you didn't know, right? So it's the same. What does it mean applied to others? It means that we should look at them like children of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yeah, it's true. You know what? Like, he did that to me or she did that to me. But you know what? She's also the daughter of her father, of her mother, even. Sometimes we can even justify, legitimate the behavior of someone who is, for instance, like a pervert, a narcissist person, right? But he was or she was brought up by a mom who was totally, who neglected her, who didn't pay attention to her, who didn't give her love. And she developed that narcissistic personality because she was just trying to exist in the eyes of her mom, right? We can always try to find like a way to root that behavior and to forgive. You know what, at the end, I don't want to be friend with her. I don't want her in my circle of influence, but I forgive her for what she did, because at the end, you know what? She's a poor girl. She doesn't know any better. She couldn't elevate herself higher than what she decided to do, right? She could. Of course, we're all here to better ourselves, but I decide to see that in her. And because I decide to see that in her, then I don't resent. I don't hold grudges against her, because I see that, you know what, like, I'm going to protect myself from her, but I don't hold grudges against her. It's not worth it. Right? So when we appeal, when we call that attribute of Rachmanut inside of us, we have that because we have the neshama that is a part of Hashem. So we have that ability. Let's discover it. Let's remind ourselves, wow, I have this ability to see her as like as a child, as a poor little child who doesn't know better, who doesn't understand yet what she has the potential to do. Of course, I should still protect myself from her, but I don't hold grudges against her. Okay. Then third attribute, vechanun. So we said kel, rachum, vechanun. So chanun, what is it? It's gracious if to continue to be gracious, even if humankind is already in distress. Chanun comes from chen, right? So here it's going to be let's say, to find chen, to find something, to have grace, to have, how do you say grace? Grace on someone? Can you say that?
Mercy.
Yeah, but it's like a little bit different, mercy and grace. So to also like find like a point of distress in that person and try to see that in him in order to forgive that person.
So like giving someone the benefit of the doubt.
Maybe, yeah. It could be interpreted like that, to find chen within that person, like to find a little point of grace that you can reveal. It makes sense? It makes sense, Morgan? What? Okay. Fourth attribute, erech hapaim. Erech hapaim is slow to anger. Slow to anger. Hashem is slow to anger. Okay. What does it mean? It doesn't mean that he's not getting angry. It means that he's slow to get angry. If it takes you today 1 second to get angry against someone, we can try to postpone that anger. How? By finding tips. Could be like, okay, I'm going to breathe in whenever I see something that really bothers me, that I know that usually it ignites like fire within me, like that need to explode, right? Whether it's the kids that at the end of the day, like they're overwhelming, whether it's someone, I know, like for me, sometimes like it irritates my ears to hear someone chewing a gum with an open mouth.
Me too. It can wind me up. Like,
Oh my
I wind
goodness.
up until like I pop.
Okay, what can I do? Yeah. What can I do? Because that person is eating like that. You're at the table. What can you do? Like, I'm sorry, like I have to go. I have an appointment. I have to leave.
Next person, I'm gonna come with a gum.
Oh my God. No, it's little things, that annoy so much, and then you cannot focus on something
It's
else.
almost like a sensory experience that's bigger than you. Like it takes over you. It's not just you don't like it. It's bigger than
It's
that.
bigger than that. It could be also something that someone always end up doing, like that thing that whether it's spouse, whether it's your best friend, and you're like, and then that it's so annoying that she does that again, that you're going to say, what? Are you kidding me? Again, you're going that. No, so being slow to anger is also a way to forgive, right? So Akadosh Baruch Hu has that ability to be erech apayim, to be slow to get angry in the sense. Oh yeah. So here it says once to the righteous. To the righteous, meaning like slow to anger. To the righteous, meaning, I don't know what is it. Slow to anger, repeat it again, for the wicked. So for the one that is righteous, meaning like the one that doesn't have any bad intention, right? That person who's chewing her gum so loud and or eating like that, like comes out, and you're like, oh my God, like it's annoying, like don't eat like that. But it's not his fault, right? He's just chewing, he's just like doing it. He's not doing it on purpose to annoy you. But you have people who will, like, you're driving nicely on the highway, and then you have a person who's trying to really like get into your way, like he really wants to push you out of your limits, right? That person is not righteous. He's wicked, right? You can also be slow to anger in this way. Even with people who really try to get you really to start like get angry, right? It could be a kid who knows how to ignite the fire, like whatever, or husband who knows he wants to test you, right? And he knows that you get you angry. This time, you're going to tap into your divine soul and say, Kadosh Baruch Hu, I know that you put me in this situation because you want to test my ability to be slow to anger. And test me, look at me. I'm slow. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I waited 10 seconds. Okay. No, but you know that it's a story, which is I think like a parable. It's not really, it never really happened, but it's a nice story. I don't know if it really happened or not. Anyways, Mr. Cohen is very well known for being like a super duper angry person in the Kehila, in the community, right? And he's a president of the community, and the rabbi every single week. So let's not take a Cohen, because he has to be the first to do an aliyah. But let's say Mr. No, again, like he has a second aliyah. So Mr. I don't know. Okay, Ben Shemol. Mr. Ben Shemol is super. He's the president of the community, and he's super nervous and super angry. You know. And every week he's known like to get super angry if he doesn't get the third aliyah. So first is Cohen, second is Levi, and then Ben Shemol. So what? Okay. And if somebody else gets that aliyah for any reason, he gets so angry. The entire community, like, oh my God, like again, he's getting so angry for that, right? And one day he comes to his rabbi, to the Rav of the community, and he says, Rav, listen, like it's becoming like such a ridiculous situation. Everybody knows how much I deal with anger. It's so difficult for me. I really want to get rid of that. What can I do? And the Rav of the community says, listen, it's very easy. I'm gonna help you. Don't worry. And he says, what do you mean? He says, okay, don't worry. Shabbat, come to shul, and you're gonna see. We're gonna help you, Bezrat Hashem. So Mr. Ben Shimon is a little worried, like what is happen? And the rabbi goes to Gabbai, to his assistant. He says to him, when Mr. Ben Shimon for the aliyah on Shabbat, you tell him, I'm sorry, it's not available. The Gabbai says, well, yeah, what are you saying? No. Whoa. He's gonna get so angry at me. Forget about it. No, why, Rav? He said, no, don't worry. Trust me. You tell him it's not available this week. I'm sorry. So of course, the Gabbai is so anxious about that Friday he decides to call Mr. Ben Shimon, and he says, Mr. Ben Shimon, listen, I'm so sorry, but you should know that the rabbi told me that this week you're not going to have the third aliyah. I know it's a big deal for you, but please forgive me. Like, there's no way, like I can't, like it's my rabbi. I have to listen to him. That's the way it is. And so Mr. Shimon said, okay. So Shabbat arrives, and first aliyah, the Kohen, second aliyah, the Levi, and third aliyah, and the rabbi calls in Mr. Sidbon, right? Moshe ben Yeshua Sidbon, and my husband goes up like that. And everybody looks at Ben Shemol like that, thinking, oh, I thought he's gonna explode. And Ben Shemol, nothing. Mr. Ben Shemol doesn't say anything. He remains seated. He knows that already, right? He was expecting it. He knew that it was planned like that. So he's not getting angry at all. And everybody's like, what? And at the end of the service, the rabbi goes to Mr. Ben Shemol and he says, no, so Mr. Ben Shemol says, so what? So he said, so I saw you today. You didn't get the aliyah, the third aliyah, right? Mr. Sidbon got the third aliyah. You say, yeah? And he said, what happened that you didn't get angry? And he said, well, I'm going to tell you the truth, Rabbi. Your Gabbai told me yesterday that you had a plan not to give me that aliyah. So it was planned already. I knew it. So what is the big deal? I am not going to get angry for nothing. It was your plan. I knew it. It was already planned like that. So I didn't get angry. So he said, well, see, you should know that whatever happens in your life that triggers your anger has already been planned by someone, by Akadosh Baruch Hu, who was testing you to see if you would get angry or not. That's a good way to be slow to anger, to know that actually this situation, when I want so badly to honk at that truck driver who stops right in front of my car, when I am in a place, when in a little street, when I cannot go out and I have to pick up my daughter from school, and I want to tell him, please, it's time to pick up the school, right? And that truck driver is just like, hey, relax, mama, mamacita, está bien, no te preocupes, mi amor, yo vengo dentro de 20 minutos. And you're like, what, 20 minutes? I'm going to wait here 20 minutes? Know that Akadosh Baruch Hu placed that truck driver here to see how you're going to react. Are you going to get angry? Or are you going to enjoy those 20 minutes to read tehilim, call your husband, I love, I missed you, what do you want for dinner? Or anything else. Anyways, it was planned like that, and your daughter will be waiting in her classroom with her Mora, and it's just going to be all right. We have that ability to ask, to understand that this has been planned by someone. It's a test. We know it in advance. It's like that for everything in life, even the chewing gum, right? Okay, then sixth attribute, verav chesed, and plenteous are in kindness. Plenteous. Plenteous? Plenteous.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
Ah, okay,
Actually.
thank you.
I don't know that word.
It's taken, from the Siddur. So it's
And you
an
didn't
old.
make it up.
Okay, so he's plenty in kindness. He has a lot of kindness. What does it mean? It means that he has a lot of kindness to give. And even if you don't give back what he expects, he's still going to give you kindness, right? Should I take an example or is it clear? I take an example? Okay, so this is the story of Mr. Cohen. This time, Mr. Cohen will put you in first position. Mr. Cohen lives in a building. In that building, he lives in the first floor, of the building, in the patio, right? Next to the, how do you say, the central court, in the middle of the building, And somebody in the building needs to do the Sheba Brachot for and they have a very small apartment and a very large crowd. So they say, okay, we're going to ask Mr. Cohen if he doesn't mind, that Mr. Cohen is old with his wife. They go to bed very early. They don't like when the kids of the family run in their apartment, but it's like that, right? And they ask Mr. Cohen, do you mind if we do the Sheba Brachot, but the Sheba Brachot are going to start at 11 p.m. because before that we have to wait for the sun to come down. We're going to start the Sheba Brachot at 11 p.m. Do you mind if we do it in the court? It's in front of your house. We know it's going to be a lot of noise, but it's a simcha. It's our kid. We are so happy to marry our daughter. So Mr. Cohen asked his wife, and they decided, yeah, of course. How are we not going to rejoice for them? They say, you can even come. He says, no, at that time of the night, like we're already going to bed. Thank you. And then during the they organize the Sheba Brachot. Mr. Cohen starts going to bed. It's 10 p.m. And at 10:30, they realize, oh, we don't have a plug to plug the speaker in the courtyard, in this patio. Let's ask Mr. Cohen if he can open the window and plug the music. So they wake up Mr. Cohen, and Mr. Cohen, I'm sorry, Mr. Cohen, please, I'm so sorry, really, mechila, but like we don't have anywhere to put music. We need to put music. It's a Sheba Brachot. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so Mr. Cohen looks at his wife, and his wife says, so he says, okay, we'll do that. We'll open the window so you can give the plug of the sound system, and we're going to plug it into our apartment, but we're going to hear the music at one time. Until what time are you planning on doing the music? Like midnight is very late already. He said, yeah, midnight, we turn it up. Don't worry, we turn it up at midnight, right? And but at midnight, of course, it's the beginning of the simcha, and they start dancing, and Mr. Cohen says, I can't, tomorrow morning I have to wake up early. I can't. And they start they start doing a lot of mess. He sees that in front of his house there is a lot of garbage, and he's starting to get oh my God, come on, what are we gonna do? And at one point it's 2 a.m. His wife says, my love, don't worry. He says, I just want to unplug it, and they go to sleep. That's it, right? They're abusing the situation. But even when they are abusing the situation, you can decide to say, you know what? It's once in a lifetime that they're going to marry this girl, and they're going to celebrate the Sheba Brachot of this girl. I'm going to put earplugs. I'm going to go to bed. And not only that, but the next day, Mr. Cohen, he woke up. He opened the door of his house, and he couldn't even go out of his door of his apartment because there were garbage all over. What did he do? Because he saw plenty of kindness. He didn't scream at them. He didn't knock and say, this family, not only they didn't respect, not only they made me go to bed super late, but they don't even clean up after themselves. He took the garbage bags, he put everything in, and he put it in the garbage. And he didn't say anything to them. This person is emulating that ability to be the Rav Chesed. Rav Chesed is, again, Chesed. I'm going to give, and I'm going to give again, even if I don't receive. It doesn't matter. Even if they don't give me back, or even if they don't respect, or even if they don't keep their words, I don't care. I'll give again. Rav Chesed. That's how Hashem gives us and gives us and gives us continuously, even if we don't respect our part of the deal. That's what we do with our kids. Even if
Isn't too much kindness with your kids not good for them?
why?
Like if I remember correctly, when we count the Omer and we look at the different attributes, and too much kindness, you can get stepped on.
Exactly. So kindness is something that you do. In order to give right kindness, you give discipline. But here in the forgiving, in the attribute of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of mercy, in order to be merciful, you have to have that Rav Chesed. Remember, you can always respond even to something bad with kindness. We're not speaking about education or parenting. We're speaking about the attribute of mercy. But you're right. We'll see when we study during, you're right. The Gvura is also very important, to channel your kindness, because kindness is like a flow. If you don't channel it, the person is not able to receive it. But here we're speaking about the receiver, we're speaking about the giver. Then the emet and truth. Being truth is an attribute of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is also helping us to forgive. Why? Because when you're truth, you're not subjective. you speak about facts, you take away the feelings. And many times we're going to see things differently with another perspective, right? If we see things truly, well, truly, he had also like a reason to do that. There was a justification to his action, right? We could see that at the end, I felt it like that. But did he really mean it like that? Probably not, right? We could use that also. We don't have to apply everything. We can take here and there the attributes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that are hidden within us. Then notzer chesed, keeping kindness. So this is also like to be able to notice the kindness that is done to us. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you an example in a couple, for instance, who fights a lot. And the woman feels she feels like she needs to be defensive, like subconsciously, like she doesn't do it willingly, but she is very defensive, so very aggressive, right? And the husband will come and say, like, I didn't do anything to you. I don't know why you react like that. Why are you so aggressive? When I say, hi, how are you? Oh, hi. Like, oh, you look good today. Today? Why today? And what about usually? I'm not good usually? Like, I didn't say anything wrong. Like, keep the kindness. Don't forget that came from a kind thing. It may hurt you because you don't have a lot of self-esteem. By the way, tonight we have a class on self-esteem at Rosine Rosanel, 8:30 p.m. in Surfside. That was just like a moment of advertising for tonight. But acknowledge that it comes from a good place. Sometimes we just like tend to only see our feelings, but really like it comes from a good place. He didn't mean to say anything wrong. He just said something, and because we have that wound, because we don't have self-confidence, because we are hurt from a previous, I don't know what, then we're going to feel like, was not nice, right? La alafim, unto thousands, meaning that it can be repeatedly, and we still have the ability to do that. And then it's nosé avon, forgiving iniquity. To be nosé avon is to be able to forgive iniquity. What does it tell you? What is iniquity according to you?
Something unfair.
Something unfair. Okay. So being able to forgive something that is unfair. It's unfair. It's not fair that she got this and I didn't. It's unfair that she responded to me this way when I was there for her, when she did me. It's unfair that but I'm still going to forgive. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is able to forgive the iniquity. We too have that ability inside of us to say it's true. It's not fair. And now what? Do I hold it in? Am I going to remind myself every second, it's so unfair? It's so not just. It's like so unfair that she was able to do that to me. It's true. And then what are you going to do with it? You are creating that feeling. It's in our mind. It's true. It's unfair. Accepting and letting go is a choice we can make. Then vapesha and transgressions, even things that are transgression, pesha, and then we're going to see chata, which is a sin. Pesha is a transgression. We know that it's forbidden, and we're going to do it anyways, right? Chata is something different in the sense that it is a chet is something that we miss. We miss the destination. That was not what it was meant to be, but I did it. I missed my destination. I missed my target while doing this, right? So that's what Akadosh Baruch Hu is able to do. And the last one is venake. Nake is pardoning, like washing off the stains of those sins, of those transgressions, of those actions that hurt us. Being able to be nake, to be clean. He cleans off. It doesn't even exist. It didn't even happen. It's okay, it's done. You want to speak about it? There's nothing to speak about anymore. I forgave. I'm okay with that. Right? So this is Akadosh Baruch Hu. This is not something human. This is something that we can emulate, that we can try to tend towards, right? We can try to act like Akadosh Baruch Hu, because inside of us, we have a neshama. We have that power of 8 that we saw last week. Shmona, neshama. We said it's the same, like if we're playing Scrabble, we could do the same word with those letters. It's an acronym, right? Not an acronym, how do you say? J'ai oublié le nom. I forgot the name. When you have the same letters and you can, c'est pas acronym. Acronym is like with the initials. So it's something else. But anyways, maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, it's, yeah, Neshama and Shmona, the power of 8, the infinite. Inside of us, we have the Neshama, we have that divine soul, we have those 13 attributes in potential. Now we just need to actualize them or not. Do I choose to actualize it? I have the power to actualize it. I do have the power to be to act or to decide to choose for myself to act like that. I have that in me. But for that, I have to do what we call a sacrifice, which means it's a lot of effort to be able to forgive iniquity, to forgive transgression, sin, to clean, to wash off everything, to forgive everything, to forget even, not to ever mention, to be slow to anger, whether it is to a wicked person or to the righteous person, to be giving kindness in abundance. All those 13 attributes we have inside of ourselves. Anagram, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hear. Anagram, you're right. Okay, perfect. So we have that ability to do it, but it is a sacrifice. And how do we call a sacrifice in Hebrew? A korban. And korban has the same root as karov. That means close, in distance, like close, getting close to someone. To whom? To Akadosh Baruch Hu. Actually, this week, we are starting the Sefer Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, right? This is the Sefer when Akadosh Baruch Hu is going to dictate to Moshe Rabbeinu to tell the Bnei Israel how to serve him in the Mishkan. Now that the Mishkan is built, open, inaugurated, we're going to serve him. How are we going to do? We're going to do korbanot. We're going to do sacrifices. And today, again, when I go and fight against the animal soul, when I burn the animal inside of me, that was what the korban was in the Mishkan, right? Burning animals. And it would be a korban to Akadosh Baruch Hu. I still can do that today, differently. I just take care of the animal soul. I push away, I fight the animal soul within me that wants to take revenge, that wants to show like, how come you did that to me? I'm going to take a revenge. I'm going to push you. I'm going to remind you of this. Oh, you didn't invite me for the wedding of your daughter? Well, see, I am inviting you, huh? No, this you didn't forget. You didn't forgive either, you know? You're inviting her, but you're reminding her that she didn't invite you.
You didn't let it go.
You didn't let it go, right? So we have the power to do that. How? By doing a korban, by offering a kadosh baruch Hu, that sacrifice. I'm fighting against that desire within me to remind that person that she harmed me, that I felt bad, that she didn't respect, that she didn't do this, that she didn't do that. Even when it was something terrible, like this actress. She fought her animal soul, who would have wanted him to be punished the same way her mom and her brother were killed, maybe. I imagine, I don't know. Just like this mom of the soldier in Gaza, who told the other soldiers, you don't hate yourself for what you did. You know that in December, one soldier, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much. In December, one of the soldiers who got killed in Gaza was shot by other Tzal soldiers who thought that it was an enemy. The mother, at the levaya of her kids, of her son, told the kids who killed her son, don't hate yourself. It's not you. You have nothing to hate yourself for. You're not guilty. You are not guilty. You fought against evil. And you did your job. And you did it well. And I don't have anything against you. Where did she find that strength? Because she didn't want those kids to ruin their lives. And 2 lives of Jews would have been ruined fighting the evil. Okay, so we're going to close down because I have a discussion at 11. But thank you so much for attending that class. And let's think about that. It's so important to live a life where we really work on ourselves, our ability to be a better person.
Thank you.